Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. You need the right person with the right background who can move your business forward. If you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed Sponsored Jobs. With Indeed Sponsored Jobs, your post stands out to quality candidates who actually fit the role. According to Indeed data, 90% are more likely to be hired and trusted by 1.6 million companies. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. Now with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/Podcats13. Just go to Indeed.com/Podcats13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Podcats13. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.
If you're an HVAC technician and a call comes in, Grainger knows that you need a partner that helps you find the right product, fast and hassle-free. And you know that when the first problem of the day is a clanking blower motor, there's no need to break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product details, you're confident you'll soon have everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Happy holidays. Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday.
This is the Fun Belt Podcast, part of the Believe Network.
Folks, the Dusty Thibodeau of Warhawk Report, Jeremy Harper of Howl Razor, and Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record.
I think it's potentially a very good week for the Sun Belts.
But I'm just kind of going off on a random rant. It's just frustrating. It's bowl season, which means Jeremy is once again missing in action. Hungover, and why not when the chief from Halo hands Butch Jones a trophy? Shane, is there a better bowl out there than that?
I don't know. That's pretty good for just kind of like popping up out of nowhere. I think the Xbox Bowl wound up looking pretty good.
I mean, is it better than the Pop Tarts Bowl? I don't know if we've gone that far with it yet. But it's pretty damn good. And then when the MVP trophy is a achievement of being the MVP.
Yeah. I mean, I'm loving the bowls that will like totally embrace the sponsor like that. If we're going to have sponsors, like I wish we could go back to the Poland Weed Eater Bowl and like, just, the winning team gets to like take the trimmers out and like tear up the field or something. Like, I think anything you can do to like just go crazy with the sponsorships, I think that's the way to go.
I think this is their last year, the R&L Carriers. What do you do for that in the New Orleans Bowl, though, Shane?
I don't know. It's good. I think we need to work harder to get like the kind of sponsors that are going to entertain people. That's my thing. It's got to be things like Pop-Tarts or Xbox or things you can do something cool with, or Duke's Mayo, different things. Like, we don't need any more, Northrop Grumman, who is that actually appealing to? Like, they're sponsoring that bowl so they can sell somebody like a Black Hawk helicopter or something. I've never quite understood, like.
Yeah, there it is. There's the missile landing there. Yeah, I like it. As you were talking, Shane, it hit me in the head. MVP of the R&L Carriers Bowl gets to go Marshawn Lynch, jump in an 18-wheeler and just wreak havoc inside the Caesars Superdome.
Yeah. At least pull the, trucker horn or something. Like, they could do something cool with that. I'm liking knowing what sound effects are in before I, get the surprise from listening the next day. So that's cool.
Yeah. It does make the production a little bit easier as well. But Shane, looking at the bowl picture, we always tout that, 57% winning percentage by the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt, do they suck at bowls now?
I don't know. ODU got a nice win. We were just talking about the Red Wolves. They got a good one. Troy loss is a little disappointing, I think. Cajuns could have gone either way. Not super surprised they weren't able to pull one out, but I think so far so okay. And I mean, it's not great, but it's going to be hard for JMU to help the winning percentage tomorrow. But there's still some chances for some good wins for the Sun Belt.
Are you already writing off James Madison? Have you joined the national media, Shane?
I'm not writing them off. I'm just acknowledging they are a underdog in that game. If they do win, I think we're going to forget about whatever happened to the Cajuns. No offense to all the Louisiana fans out there. I just think it's going to the playoff money, if you get to another round and throw another $4 million into the coffers, I think everybody will gladly forget that Delaware was able to top the Cajuns if that happens.
If you're Kelly Dampus and Don Coryell, are you upset and kicking yourself like, damn it, this is the year that we decided to leave, and now the Sun Belt's going to go get in the CFP?
I doubt you're kicking yourself. You convinced yourself you made the right move. You're counting some other money, probably, if you're him. But he's probably fine with it. The rest of us can get our jabs in, I think, is fair.
So as you look at across those games there, you mentioned Old Dominion getting a good win. I was kind of surprised at that with no Colton Joseph being in the mix, that they were really able to kind of surge and get that win. Ricky Ronnie gets, what was it, a 4-year contract extension? Very well deserved. But is that a testament of how deep that team is that they can compete without their star? Or is that a Ricky Ronnie special that he just deals with the hand he's dealt?
I think they were a good team. I think ODU is an underrated team right now. Both teams without their quarterback, so that evens the playing field a little bit. And I can't try to pronounce it right because everybody around here wants to say Heineke. Think back to the old ODU star. His name's it's Hinnickel, I believe, was the backup quarterback. And he played well enough. I just think ODU is an underrated team, which adds to the whole narrative about the G5 in general in this playoff discussion is you don't get credit for beating a team like ODU. 2 of their 3 losses are to playoff teams, including the number 1 team in the country they were very competitive against early in the season. I just think that's a good ODU team.
No doubt. And we have obviously the CFP game coming up on Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, however you want to look at that. But then there's 4 other games. You have Western Kentucky Southern Miss in the New Orleans Bowl, the Birmingham Bowl of the rematch of Deeper Than Hate of Georgia Southern and App State, the Indy Bowl, Louisiana Tech, future member, and Coastal Carolina, and then the Fort Worth, I forget what the actual bowl name is, for Texas State Rice. Out of those games, which one kind of intrigued you or piques your interest the most out of the remaining bowl games?
Probably, I would say the Western Kentucky Southern Miss. Those are 2 teams that had pretty good regular seasons. Both teams are dealing with some turnover here since the bowl period began. Obviously, Charles Huff moving on to Memphis doesn't make things any easier on the Golden Eagles. But I think just based on what those teams did in the regular season, that's the best game, at least on paper, coming up. But I do think we talked about it, why Keith Gill even had to release a statement saying that, saying anything about the App State Georgia Southern game. I think it's awesome that they're playing again, that we get an actual true rivalry in a bowl game, that there's going to be some deeper than hate feelings going on there. So that might be the one I actually do look forward to the most, even though it's probably not the best game technically.
Love the Birmingham Bowl and the Vulcan statue there. Everybody just looks, of course, at the rear end of Vulcan in that. I like that Independence Bowl matchup of Louisiana Tech, Coastal Carolina. Louisiana Tech releasing their non-conference schedule for next year that includes everybody that is not in the Sun Belt, assuming that they're already in. And while I'm pretty sure that they're going to be in, there's nothing that's official that says that the Bulldogs are going to slide right into the Sun Belt, take over the Texas State schedule, and we just roll on from there. So to me, it's intriguing still of, is this a new conference rivalry that could form out of this game? Is this a preview of next year's Sun Belt Conference championship game, or is this just another Conference USA versus Sun Belt game for another year?
No, I mean, I think it's a look at like what we could see in the future of the conference. Coastal's not necessarily going to be the Coastal that we'll see because they obviously have a new coaching staff coming in, and that shakes things up quite a bit. But I would just assume Louisiana Tech, it may cost them a certain amount of money that we don't know yet, but I would assume they're going to be playing in the Sun Belt next year. And like you said, they just kind of take over the Texas State schedule and things. A lot of us won't even really notice much of a difference.
That's that JMU Eastern hierarchy we expect from you there, Shane.
Well, I mean, that's true, though. It is for the Eastern teams. You're not necessarily going to notice a huge difference. You play Texas every once in a while, every few years in football. JMU's already made their trips out there, so they got to see like the Austin, San Antonio area and enjoy that. Like, weren't going to be going back to San Marcos anytime soon. I don't think it really, for a lot of these Eastern teams, it really is. You just switch Louisiana Tech in, and it's not going to make a whole lot of difference to your day-to-day life.
On the basketball front, since we haven't had a great Netland episode come out yet there, Shane.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts after the first games? Maybe I'm biased, but that South Alabama ULM game was amazing. Disappointed, obviously, in the loss, but what a great competitive game from ULM. And the fact, though, that they blew a 20-point lead and had to take it double overtime tells me that these Warhawks are pretty close to being competitive in the league.
Yeah, I was shocked, honestly, when I saw how far ahead ULM was, and then equally shocked when I get done covering the JMU ODU game and somebody tells me that South Alabama won. But, that's the kind of entertaining games you want to have in conference play, particularly when all conversation of it being a two-bid league is out the door. Like, yeah, let's just have a really entertaining, fun conference schedule. And, it was a fairly decent slate to get started with. Arkansas State looks pretty good on opening night. Not to just keep piling on Texas State here, but yeah, good start for the Red Wolves. I think they're starting to get together, and I think it's going to be a competitive run for the regular season.
An outburst in the Southern Miss Louisiana Lafayette game. Coach Quantis White getting ejected, escorted off the court by the Hattiesburg finest. Is that a sign that he is that passionate of a coach, or is this a little bit of maybe desperation that he's kind of losing control of this team and things aren't going his way the way he expected them to, and he's kind of lashing out?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of, this is not going the way. I think everybody expected to see bigger things from Louisiana. I think we knew they were a young team, but maybe didn't expect them to struggle quite as much as they did. Quantis White seemed to bring a lot of energy into the program. And, maybe this is his way of trying to take his energy and get it to the players. But, not ideal whenever the police end up on the floor.
So two teams, Marshall and Troy, have not played yet. They will tip off on Saturday. But out of the 0-1 teams there, Shane, James Madison, Texas State, Coastal Carolina, ULM, Georgia State, and Louisiana Lafayette, which one of those do you think can get back on the winning ways in the Saturday contest?
You know, part of me wants to say JMU because I think there's some talent there. I think back to last year when they went to South Alabama in the conference opener and just got ran off the floor and wind up tying for the regular season title. I haven't necessarily seen the energy from them to tell me that they're going to do that again, but I think they're capable if they play the way that Preston Stradler wants them to. So that might be my choice, but Georgia Southern's on a roll. I don't think it's going to get any easier for them going down there this Saturday. So hard to say. I don't know. I may tip it back towards a team like Coastal. Maybe a little bit of a letdown from ODU after winning a rivalry game. And I think Coastal's maybe got the talent to win some games in conference play.
Way early in the season, but we like to speculate and create the content there. Out of the 1-0 teams, who's the fraud? Who is it that they're lucky that they're 1-0 right now? And I'm not saying they're not going to win another game, but they won't be sitting atop the standings this time next month.
Yeah, you are putting us on a hot seat there. I'm going to say Southern Miss. It's just been such a struggle for them the last few years. Turnover with their coaching staff, not real consistency with the players here like the last couple of years. But they're playing Louisiana. They open up with the Louisiana team that we've just talked about has really struggled so far. It's not to say I don't think Southern Miss is going to be decent, but I just, they may want to take a screenshot of the standings now, because I'm not sure they're going to be in first place in a few weeks.
I agree with you. I think it's Southern Miss is my fraud team after one game. The team that I still think that can come back and really rebound. I know I'm biased, Shane, and everyone always says it. I mean, hell, that's why we had to start believing the Warhawks. But I think ULM, after that showing against South Alabama is probably the team that winds up winning this league overall. And they hung with them. They were just a couple plays away from really being able to seal it in the first and the second overtimes. Yes, they did blow the 20-point lead in the second half of that game, but I still feel that they have the ability to continue to learn, to get better, and to improve on their record this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily put ULM in like the category of like, this is a team that might win this league. I think they're a team that might impact who wins this league, because they're going to beat somebody that on paper they shouldn't. After seeing, some of the performances they've had this year, and just, getting that team together and playing a few games with a roster that's completely new, getting to know each other a little bit. I think they're going to make some noise, if not be one of those teams that, gets the super double mega bye in the conference tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they did sweep South Alabama last year back-to-back games in order to keep the Jaguars from winning an outright title. They had to share it there. On the women's side, everyone's played. So we have the 1-0s, the 0-1s. Arkansas State, they don't look like they've missed a beat on the women's side, able to jump out and really dominate that game over ULM. I didn't see any difference really from this Arkansas State team than the one from last year that wound up going to the NCAA regionals. I like the Red Wolves out of the winners there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably still have JMU as my favorite in the conference. They didn't play particularly well at Coastal, but they got a win on the road. They looked pretty competitive against Notre Dame in that game right before conference play started, and played a ridiculously tough non-conference schedule and came out doing okay with that. Got the conference player of the year on your team. Never hurts. I think I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see another championship game between JMU and Arkansas State, though.
On the Offers, are the Cajuns just that bad? Jeremy, Shane, whoever you are this time, pour one out for Jeremy. Or they've just been a victim of circumstance. I mean, I realize they're winless on the year, but are they really a winless team or are they just bad circumstance?
I don't know. I mean, you almost can luck into a victory somewhere along the way at this point in the season. That it's concerning that you're still winless at this point. It may be a completely rebuilding time for the Cajuns in both men's and women's basketball. I honestly haven't seen enough of them to really judge, but just what they always say, you are what your record says you are. And that's not the kind of record you want to be.
Dead last in the league, shooting 34% from the floor, surrendering a 45% to their opponents. You look at the stats across the board in Sunbelt Conference, they're at the bottom of everything that's good and at the top of things that are bad.
Yeah.
As much as people might say that's a biased take for me, I don't want any team to just absolutely suck in this league, regardless who they are, because if everyone sucks, then we all suck anyway. And so I think that we want everybody to be competitive and not just be floundering.
Yeah. Hey, before we move on from women's basketball, we need to mention Troy. 10-1. They get off to a start with a victory. They've got a win over Missouri earlier this year. I know you said you think Arkansas State's the favorite out there. I think it's a co-favorite when you talk about Arkansas State and Troy. And I don't know if I'd have Arkansas State necessarily with Troy, if not for the fact that the Red Wolves are just the defending champs. And it's kind of like, you got to knock them off the perch.
The power of Chamda is with us all. So Shane, the national media, you're a member of it. And Diego Pavia said, screw all you guys that are Heisman Trophy voters. Did he issue you a personal apology, or are you still in the screw you category?
I haven't heard from him, even though I had him at the top of my Heisman ballot. I have to say, I was taken aback. I was, hey, I mean, Diego, come on. Thought we were guys. I thought we were boys. But you say F all the voters? Like, man, come on. There were a few of us who had you on top. So I don't want to say I'm offended. I'm just hurt.
I'm sorry for that. I was hurt that I voted for Evan Crenshaw, punter from Troy, as the Ray Guy Award winner. Didn't win it, despite having the best stats out of any guy in the finalist range. Shane, explain that to me.
I don't know. I'll be perfectly honest. Like, I voted for the Heisman this year. I did not have time to really dig into like all the other awards and feel like I was giving an accurate vote. So like, I skipped a lot of like those position awards this year. Didn't vote for them. So I may be part of the problem when it comes to Ray Guy. I didn't take the opportunity to vote in that one. I will say though, I voted for your guy. I had Ahmad Hardy number 2 on my Heisman ballot.
Wow.
I was surprised. Like, he was not even in the top 10 in points getters. Like, I thought he was like legitimately maybe like part of the discussion, not necessarily going to be top 5, but yeah, I was apparently one of the few who gave any love to the former Warhawk there.
He's always a Warhawk. There's no former.
Okay. It's like being a Marine.
Exactly. So Shane, take me through that Heisman voting. I mean, obviously in this day and age, there's no like paper ballot that you have to mail in by a certain date. It's a website you go to. Is it literally just a blank field where you can write in whoever you want, or is there a drop down box where you have to vote from this certain list of individuals?
No, it's totally blank. You get emailed and texted a link that's secure to do it. They make you click a little NDA agreement that you're not going to put your ballot out there until the actual winner is announced. I did it kind of at the last minute, which I like to do. Means you're paying attention to every game that's been played. I know some people will have theirs just in before even like the conference championship games and stuff. I waited till after that to do it. And I tried not to read too much about like just who everybody else had. Like, there's all kinds of articles that'll give you like the odds of the winners and everything else. And, so you get to rank your top 3 and their points are given based on that. I had Fernando Mendoza 3rd, which I don't think is bad, but I heard about it from, some Indiana fans. I didn't have him number 1, but I mean, I don't like to just go. And I'll say this about, the Sun Belt Player of the Year award. Like, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, I don't like to just go with, hey, we're just going to pick the quarterback of the best team and that's your Player of the Year. So I thought Diego Pavia, with his throwing and rushing numbers and taking a program like Vanderbilt to the heights that he did, I thought that was worthy of the first place vote. And Ahmad Hardy, like I said, I was surprised that just looking at pure stats, playing for a good team, that he didn't get a little more love because, his rushing and his all-purpose yardage were really, really good and like totally different conversation. I'm not saying the G5 isn't worthy of everything, but the SEC this year was legit. And to do those things he did in the SEC, I thought was worthy of consideration for the Heisman too.
Did you get the stuff mailed to you? Because I had a bunch of stuff for the All-American committee. What's his name? Love from Notre Dame. They sent this awesome little care package with the gloves, with the heart that formed a heart and all that. The problem is, by the time I got it, we had already voted on the team. So it was appreciated to feel the love, but too little too late.
I did not get the gloves. I may have to ask my kids if they checked the mail on me. It's possible it didn't make it to me, but no, I didn't get the gloves.
Do you get other stuff for Heisman consideration?
Sometimes, like you said, sometimes you get it too late. I don't know. Sometimes, like, Iowa has done it for both football and basketball awards. It seems like I was always getting stuff from Iowa, and in past years, I don't know if they got anything this year from Iowa. But sometimes they would turn me off because it would be like, not only like, hey, we're building up our guy, it would be like, or girl, for women's basketball, but it was like, sometimes it would be like crapping on somebody else. And like, I'll be honest, sometimes it was hard to like continue to not like hold it against them, because it was like, hey, I'm getting annoyed that, like, one, you're flooding me with all this stuff, and two, like, you're not just building up your own person. Like, now you're kind of like getting snarky about somebody else. So try not to let that stuff affect me either way. But since we're opening that can of worms, I will say, like, I think Iowa toned it down a little bit, which I think is good.
I forgot about that. That for many, many years, I used to have the Iowa notepad because they would send one for football and basketball.
Yeah, the Iowa notepad is fine. It's great. I don't necessarily break it out when I'm covering another team, but like, yeah, had a notepad with Luca Garza on it that, you could write down some phone numbers and stuff there when you're jotting things down. But yeah, sometimes it was just a little too much from Iowa.
The coolest thing I ever got, and I don't even remember the contender because he wound up that season not being a real contender. They sent like this cardboard fold out 3D glass that you would wear, and it was like a 3D how you moved of a highlight of like him diving into the end zone or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that one.
I don't even remember how long ago that was. I just always remembered that because my kids were just enamored with that, running around the house with it on, kind of before the whole Meta headset was on, and I kept waiting on them to smash into the wall. So Shane, short and sweet without the mouth of the South. Jeremy, congrats on your bowl win once again, but you still lost to ULM. Plugs, promos, parting shots. What do you have for us there, Shane?
Man, I didn't think this through. I thought I had one. Now I can't remember. I guess I'll just hit on it a little bit again. The consternation that we have group of 5 teams in this playoff has just been so over the top here leading up to these games. I don't know if either Tulane or JMU is going to avoid getting blown out. I think they both have a chance to be competitive. But in any given game, the breaks can go one way or the other. But just the idea that teams aren't deserving, I feel like, is crazy. The idea that why college football is the only sport where people think it has to be the absolute 12 best teams in the playoff. We don't, if the AL East is the best division in baseball, we don't just automatically put all 4 or 5 teams in the playoffs if that means like the NL West isn't as good. Like there's something to be said for playing your schedule and winning and then taking your shot in the postseason. And we see the magic happen in every sport. Why do people want to take that away from college football so badly? Yeah, that's my parting shot. Nothing too original.
Yeah. I'm going to do a parting shot of I still can't get over the whole safety concerns of a 16 playing the P4. That is still just the most asinine thing that I hear just over and over and over again. And while, yes, injuries happen when you're playing those money games, the body bag games, whatever you want to call them, I've always seen way more gruesome injuries in conference action. I remember a guy that I don't know how he still literally had a leg when we played at Middle Tennessee in the middle of the season. And to me, it's still just mind-blowing that I can't always even spit it out there, Shane. I don't have the Pulitzer Prize-winning award capabilities to voice the frustration without having to break out the editing like I had to last episode. So that's my parting shot is that's still asinine. It bothers the mess out of me. And I hope Jeremy drank one for me last night while he was at the Xbox Bowl.
I'm sure Jeremy drank some for all of us.
If you're an HVAC technician and a call comes in, Grainger knows that you need a partner that helps you find the right product, fast and hassle-free. And you know that when the first problem of the day is a clanking blower motor, there's no need to break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product details, you're confident you'll soon have everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Happy holidays. Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy Holiday. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.